Hello everyone. Today's lesson is volume of a sphere. You will be able to use a formula to find the volume of a sphere, and you can use the formula for the volume of a sphere to find a missing dimension. Volume of spheres. The volume of a sphere can be found by using the formula 4/3 times pi times radius cubed. Half of a sphere is called a hemisphere. If a cylinder and a sphere have the same radius and the same height, the height of the sphere would be 2 times r. Then the sphere will have 2/3 the volume of the cylinder. Use this fact to help you see how the formula for the volume of spheres was derived in the table below. So the formula for a volume of a cylinder is pi r squared times height. We're going to replace h with 2r because the height of the sphere would be represented by 2 times r. So pi times r squared. Instead of height, we're going to replace it with 2 times r. We're going to multiply the formula by 2/3 because the sphere has 2/3 the volume of the cylinder. So 2/3 times pi times r squared times 2 times r. And then we simplify. So we'll look at our like terms. 2/3 times 2, our only numbers, is 4/3. Pi times r squared, well, there's 3 r's, r times r times r, and our pi symbol can't be combined with anything because it's only an irrational number. So that's how 4/3 times pi times r to the third power comes about. Find the volume of each sphere and use the pi symbol. Don't use 3.14 to answer. We're going to answer all of our problems to the nearest tenth. Number 1, the sphere's formula is V is equal to 4/3 times pi r cubed. Our values that we're going to plug into our formula is just the radius. So 4/3 times the pi symbol times 3 cubed. In our calculators, we can do 4 ABC, 3 times the pi symbol, times in parentheses 3 to the third power. And you'll get 113.09. So that 9 will round the 0 to 1, and it's units cubed. Number 2, the diameter is given to us instead of the radius. So we're going to half the diameter to get 6. And we'll use our formula of 4/3 times pi times r cubed. Plug in our values. 4/3 times pi, our radius is 6 cubed. And put that in our calculator. So once again, you'll do 4 ABC button, 3 times the pi symbol times 6 to the third power. You're going to get 904.77. So that second 7 in the hundredths place will round the 7 in the tenths place to an 8 units cubed. Problems 4 through 6. Find the volume of each sphere, but this time you're leaving your solutions in terms of pi. Number 1, your sphere is given the diameter. So again, we have to half our diameter to get 6.5. Our formula is V is equal to 4/3 times pi r cubed. Our values would be just plugging in the radius, which is 6.5 cubed. And this time you're just going to be multiplying 4/3 by the radius cubed, so 6.5 cubed, and you're leaving the pi symbol. When you do 4 ABC 3 times 6.5 to the third power, you get 366.16 repeating. So the 6 rounds the 1 to a 2, and you're going to keep the pi symbol, units cubed. Number 5, they give you the radius for the sphere. So we have 4/3 pi r cubed. We're going to keep the 4/3 in the pi symbol, and our radius is 12 cubed. In your calculator, you're doing 4/3 times 12 cubed, and you get 2,304. Keep the pi symbol, and then it's units cubed. Use a formula for the volume of spheres to help you answer each question below. A hemisphere has a radius of 7 inches. Find the volume of the hemisphere. A hemisphere is half of a sphere. So the only difference between finding the volume of a full sphere and a hemisphere is you're going to take half of the formula. Well, we're going to just take half of 4/3. Half of 4/3 is 2/3. So our formula for a hemisphere is V is equal to 2/3 times pi r cubed. Fill in what we know, which is our radius is 7 cubed. And in our calculators, you do 2 ABC to the third times the pi symbol times 7 cubed, and you get 718.37. We're going to take the 7, make the 3 round up to 718.4 inches cubed, or cubic inches. A sphere has a volume of 288 pi inches cubed. Find the radius of the sphere. So if we know the volume, we can find the radius. Our volume is 288 pi equals 4/3 times pi times r cubed. We're going to divide both sides by 4/3 pi so that we can get the r isolated by itself. So in your calculators, all you have to do is 288 divided by 4/3, so 4 ABC 3, and you're going to get 216. You might be asking why we didn't do anything with the pi symbols. That's because the pi symbols cancel out. There's one in the numerator and there's one in the denominator, and if you divide a number by itself, it's 1, so it cancels out. Same with this side. So now you're left with 216 equals r cubed. Based on Unit 9 for real numbers, you know how to take the cube root of both sides to find just the radius. So we're going to take the cube root of both sides. And again, in your calculator, all you have to do is press the number 3, second, and the upside down caret button and put in 216, and you'll get the answer of 6 is equal to r. So the radius of this sphere is 6 inches. In this lesson, we learned to find the volume of a sphere, you will use the formula volume is equal to 4/3 times pi times r to the third power. To find the radius of a sphere, you can use the same formula and substitute your known values and solve for r. That's a wrap on this video. We will see you on the next one.